Andre Mariette. I am an owner and engineer at Timbro Studios, and I'm an audio engineer and like producer and artist, writer. I do all the things in the music, I guess. So try to dabble.
Timbro Studios?
Timbral Studios, yeah. Timbral Studios. Timbral is a Latin form of the word timbre, meaning like whatever makes a certain thing unique. Every snare drum has its own timbre, every guitar has its own timbre, every voice has its own timbre, so it's what makes you unique, and then it's just the Latin form of that.
Okay.
Thought it was being cool. Minneapolis is a really dope spot with a lot of creative personalities, all kind of driving for their own thing. I see a lot of people innovating, being different, which is cool. You see people like Dua, and you see people like Simon, and even Lizzo. I mean, as far as like difference of ranges of music, I really see Minneapolis kind of growing and becoming a place where people are looking at for bigger acts to come and enjoy and see how the fan base is. They see how people react. They see how we have such a culture here of hip hop, and yeah, I mean, it's cool. It's cool to see that that's expanding and growing, and that people are really like accepting that on a broader scale. And so I think it's gonna come to be that more people are seeing people make it out of Minneapolis or whatever, and kind of be noticed more or easier. I don't know which is the word for it, but there's a clear opportunity to break or make something of yourself coming from the city. And so I think that's kind of just been like proven through the amount of people who have shown success over the last couple years from here.
Is there a Minneapolis sound?
A Minneapolis sound? I don't know, man. It's always changing. I don't think there is an exact Minneapolis sound. As funny as it is, when I moved here, it was very more underground and more, I don't want to say emo, but a darker feel, more like feely stuff. And it's became a lot more trappy, which is interesting. The thing I find funny about that whole thing is I think a lot more people don't give credit to Prof as much as he kind of made that all happen, I feel like. I feel like he was one of the first people that in Minneapolis became like popular doing trap-ish stuff, and I don't think that's what people are all making, is stuff that sounds like Prof per se, but just the fact that he was able to do that, and then like people are kind of all broke out into their own suits. And so you have these people like Jay Plaza and Dwinell and Student One and everything like that all are able to fit their own lane in this kind of like trappier, upbeat like vibe that the city has now. And so it's interesting to see how it's evolved. I mean, I've been here for like 7 years, so it's really interesting to see that evolution happen so quickly, I guess. And it's interesting to see what the sound is gonna kind of switch into and what it's gonna build on after a while. So yeah, I am a producer more than anything now, and I think I don't want to get too caught up in the whole beat maker, producer, blah blah blah. Like, call yourself whatever you want. But when I say I'm being a producer nowadays, I own a studio, Timbro Studios, in Southeast Minneapolis, and that spot is kind of like a big workshop, because I have a lot of producers that I work with. I have a couple engineers that I work with, and I work out of there, and I do all of these kind of things, and I write for people. And so you're able to kind of come through and build on your songs, even if you don't have a complete song. I'm able to kind of build that with you, and that's why I consider myself a producer more than just even a beat maker or whatever it is. I don't really care what the title is. None of them are degrading to me. If people wanted to call me a beat maker, I'd be fine with that. But for me, I really consider myself just a producer because I like to sculpt songs into a complete thing. You can bring me whatever level you have of your song, whether that's completely done, you know all your melodies and everything, or you could bring me, I have like a pretty finished verse and kind of a finished hook, and I think maybe the beat needs work, and we can do all those things too. So it's that's where I like sitting right now. I used to rap. I don't really anymore, but I like writing with rappers and writing for people. It's a nice diversity now. So yeah, that's what I am, I guess.
What about outside of music?
Outside of music, outside of music, I'm a husband. Man, I can't lie. I would be lying to say that my life isn't almost all just music. Because I mean, my job is 100% being an audio engineer in music, and then my career, my fun time is music, career is music, and like when I'm not doing any of that, I kind of just look and watch up music things. I do a lot of entrepreneurial things because I enjoy taking ownership of stuff, so I do watch a lot of like business oriented things, but they're really all to be better at doing music things, in all honesty. And I don't know if that's sad or really just like all enveloping, I guess, or whatnot. You know, I know other people have their hobbies, but my hobby is genuinely making beats. And my fun time is usually like watching videos on YouTube about how to better market yourself and better hold yourself in a business standing, and also produce better music. So yeah, that's like really what even my outside life is, all enveloped in music somehow.
It comes back.
It all comes back. It's all full circle. Like I don't think there's any way for me to escape from it, and I like that as well. That's just where I feel comfortable. Yeah,
man. That's what life should be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think I'm very blessed and lucky, and I say lucky kind of tossed to the wind because I worked very hard for it. I really spent a lot of money and time and effort, and believed in myself, and it's still every day is learning new things, how to do it bigger and better, and how to grow with new people and everything like that. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't really end. So all growth. Like I said, I do believe that there's kind of doors opening more and more for Minneapolis, where people on a larger level, A&Rs, labels, are all gonna start looking towards Minneapolis and realizing like, hey, there are people breaking from here that are doing bigger things, bigger tours, bigger music, getting placed in bigger things, and that's just all drawing more attention and opening the door wider for more and more people. So I think right now is more a time than ever where people have to, not even really, you can't complain or like whine if you're not able to find your lane in there, maybe you're not working hard enough, maybe you're not trying hard enough. And that's for me, myself too, that I tell myself all the time when I'm like, I'm not at the place where I want to be. I'm like, I'm probably not working hard enough. And so I see Minneapolis really getting a nice door open. As for me, I see for myself, I just opened up the studio. So this is kind of like a big journey onto a whole new path of just everything, like really trying to work with new people, opening my doors to different ventures, and kind of being able to see where I fit in and what I can provide for everybody else. Because I've created a space that's very comfortable and very good for making music, basically, if you just put it simply. But I want to be able to open that door up for more and more people to come in. So my next steps are kind of just working with more people and realizing that the internet makes the world small. Small and big.
The internet.
Yeah, well, because things that weren't available, like when I was growing up, you weren't able, I mean, I guess you could MySpace message someone or something like that. But like, it wasn't as accessible to reach bigger producers, artists, and everything like that. Now you have places like Twitter where you can literally pick up at someone, and people as big as Kendrick Lamar sometimes are gonna be like, okay, like, and that's crazy that the world is like made it so you're basically sitting next to Kendrick Lamar. And so for me, I'm like realizing that the internet makes it such a vast place and a small place at the same time, because you can have a genuine conversation with your idol in the DMs, like on some real shit. You can just talk to someone just like a real genuine person, and who knows what that opportunity brings and what that can make of itself. So I've started trying to tap in more to being like, oh yeah, I live in Minneapolis, I have this space that people can come to physically, but also there's nothing stopping me from sending this person in LA beats to use for their next album. There's nothing to say that I can't mix someone's song from Chicago. There's nothing to say that I can't go and even visit someone in one of these cities and cook up with them on the spot. So it's a thing right now where I'm realizing that closed mouths don't get fed, and it's something I'm trying to like really recognize more and more, because I've been so I go in this weird back and forth between being very timid and quiet and then being very like loud and outspoken. And for me, I gotta find a balance between those two. But right now for me, it's being like realizing that opportunity can be sitting right there, and sometimes the only thing separating you from getting that opportunity is literally going, do you mind if I have that opportunity? And that person would be like, oh yeah, I didn't even really think about that. Sure, here you go. And that's actually worked for me recently in the last like couple weeks to a month, where I've been like, hey, can I have this opportunity? And they're like, sure. I'm just like, oh, I word, like, cool, like, let's get it then. And it works. So yeah, realizing that the internet is a very, very strong tool is where I'm at too. I'm supposed to be meeting up with Lucian about doing some commercial kind of things.
Oh shit.
And then I can actually leak this one because Dwino's not been good about leaking. He leaks everything on his Snapchat and Twitter and all of that. So me and him are cooking up like an album and everything like that. So we've been working pretty hard on doing that. But yeah, I have a lot of people that I'm working with in the lab. Wycleek, X, RZ. There's just a good amount of people that I'm already working with that I'm really excited about the music that I'm getting to start to make, like just right off the bat initially. Yeah, it's an interesting time. I hope that Minneapolis responds in a way that I feel like they want to see me succeed. I want to see so many people succeed, and I'm working so diligently to try to make so many people succeed in whatever facet I can. So it's like I'm covering certain projects, I'm doing certain work for cheaper, different ways, and working out negotiations with people. So I'm hoping that that feeling that I've put out into the world is reciprocated whenever I open up the doors here in a bit. And it's like I'm excited to see how people are able to respond and help, and I'm also willing to help people. And so I hope that people feel like they that I'm part of like the community, and that they're able to come to me if they're wanting to get good music made. I want to like help a bunch of people, and I'm hoping to see the same thing. So yeah, man, it's only able to grow together. I'm realizing more and more that I need to open up the doors to people and be more receiving of like people, and also like be more helpful for people. It's kind of my whole purpose, I think. So trying to figure that whole part out. This is Staring at the City. I am Andre Mariette. Enjoy.